My name is Riley, and my family is one of the many families that has benefited from Ronald McDonald House charities. Emmett was born August of 2017. I was 2 weeks late, so I was pretty miserable. And I had a totally normal pregnancy. I had a somewhat normal delivery. I had an emergency C-section, but a lot of people have those. And spent a couple days in the NICU, and then they discharged us home. He was 2.5 months old, and he woke up on a Friday night. And I vividly remember. He was screaming like I've never heard a baby scream before. And we rushed over to him and we picked him up, and his skin was just like beet red. It had gotten to the point where he just wasn't crying anymore, and he was limp. We ended up at Utah Valley in Provo, and the doctor came in and told us they'd put an IV in, they'd break his fever with fluids, and we'd be home within 24 hours. It was about midnight, and they came in and they said, he's in total liver failure, and we can't treat him here. We were ambulanced to the PICU at Primaries. It's so overwhelming from the very second you step in. This place is cold and this place is dark, and I don't thrive in those environments. In that moment, you're panicking. You're like, how the heck am I supposed to, how am I supposed to take care of myself, let alone take care of my kid? I laid down on this little green chair and I broke every rule possible. I pushed it right up against Emmett's crib, and I remember sticking my fingers through the little side of the crib so I could touch his hand, and I crashed. The biggest turning point in our experience in the PICU was day 3. We are exhausted, we're so tired, and our nurse comes in and says, we know you're sleeping on the floor. We know you're breaking rules. And she said, have you guys heard of the Ronald McDonald Family Room? They have warm food, they have a bed, and they have showers. And I was sold. As a mom, I was like, am I really okay leaving him? And I remember Jay saying, if anything happens, we're literally right there. And it would take us less than 20 seconds to get back into his room. That was actually the first time I ended up leaving the PICU. I'm kind of a picky eater, and I was like, I don't care what they're serving, I'm going to go eat it because I was so hungry. The Ronald McDonald Family Room really became a sanctuary for us very quickly. It was a place that felt very different than the hospital felt. The lighting is different, the smell is different. It was a place that we could process what was happening, but also get away from what was happening. The more we looked into Emmett's health, the more we found puzzle pieces that didn't fit together. We'd finally requested genetics. They came in, and the geneticists walked in, and they picked him up out of his crib. They, measured his ear to his chin length or his nose length, and looked at us, and they're like, oh yeah, this kid's got a glycosylation disorder. In Emmett's case, it's head to toe, a lot of neurological issues, neuromuscular issues, bleeding disorders, organ problems, just a lot. On paper is terrifying. You read through his chart and you're like, this is the most unstable kid. And then you meet him and he's a hoot. He doesn't talk, but he's so loud. He understands everything you say to him. He just can't communicate back with you in words. He's a typical 6-year-old. He loves bubbles and reading, and swimming is one of his favorite things. That kid could live in the bath if you let him. Watching Emmett become a sibling, with Brinley and Brooks has been so fun. He's like the mischievous older brother. He's so charismatic that Emmett on paper and Emmett in real life are two very different people. I was kind of terrified to be a mom, but I love it. We definitely are frequent flyers. I think without the family room, hospital stays would be pretty much unbearable. So when we found out about Lehi, Lehi Hospital in general was so exciting to us because it's 10 minutes from our house. But then when Carrie announced the Lehi Family Room, I remember just sobbing. We were just over the moon excited. I was honestly shocked when I found out Ronald McDonald was a charity and was community supported. I remember the first meal that we had and finding out that these people had no ties to primary children's, but they had heard that they could come and feed families, and they just made a bunch of spaghetti and brought Costco salad kits. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. But to find out that somebody that doesn't know me could love me so much, to come in and spend their time and their money to take care of me so that I could take care of my child, meant everything to me. I've met a lot of people that have put a lot of money into these family rooms. And the first thing I say to them is, you don't know me, but I love you. Like, I love you so much because this directly impacts my family and my life. And I just feel so grateful that people are so willing to put money into this program because it means everything to us.